My name is Jennifer Harris.
I am John Connolly, the owner of 2 cats.
I'm Billy Smith.
Hi, my name is Devin Cloutman.
Where'd you get your cat?
We got him at a shelter on the Cape somewhere. I'm not 100% sure of the name.
So Atticus came from the Scituate Humane Society. And the story with that was they had built a new Scituate Humane Society, so the old one, whoever had him left him outside in a cage with no information, no name, no nothing. They just left him outside at the old Humane Society, so someone found him and brought him over.
Solstice we got in a blizzard in 2009. He showed up on the solstice, the winter solstice, and it was a terrible snowstorm, and he came meowing and screaming at our door, so we let him in. And then we isolated him downstairs in what was my office at the time with some blankets and some food and some water. Because we had other pets and we wanted to keep him apart for hygiene reasons until we could get him to a vet. Sasha we actually got from a friend who lives across on the other side of 3A, the other complex over there. And she was like, what would you call it? A foster home for kittens. And we got her, and that was about 15 years ago.
This is my son's cat. I don't know where he found her. It's Molly. She's with us now for a few months because they just moved to North Carolina. They're staying here until they get their own house there. Right now they're living with Beth's stepmom.
Why'd you want a cat?
Why do I want a cat?
Yeah.
They're easy to take care of. You can leave the house for hours and not have to worry about them. Dogs are harder. You have to be home every few hours to take them out. So cats are easy.
I don't really think people have choices whether or not they get cats. The cat chooses them, and then you just have a moral obligation to take care of the cat that chose you.
I had Travis McGee for 21 years, and by the end, he was ill, and so and our friend Lee, who was a dear friend of mine, passed away from cancer 2 weeks between when I had to put Travis down. So I didn't want a cat for I couldn't handle emotionally another animal for about a year. And then I had some stepchildren, and they were like, you need a cat, you need a cat. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll get a cat. So I said, well, I want a black and white, I want a tuxedo cat, because it was very different than a tiger. So they really found it online.
Why'd you want a cat?
I think they're fun. I just like cats.
Why'd you name your cat Razor?
So we didn't actually name him that. He came with that name. Wouldn't have been my first choice, but I mean, his name was already Razor, and he actually responds to his name, so I wasn't gonna change it.
I am a retired librarian, and I've always named my cats after fictional characters. Travis McGee was a detective on the Busted Flush, kind of like a Sherlock character. It was one of my favorite characters. And so Atticus, because he was black and white, was representing the South. So I was going for an important character. Atticus Finch is a hero in To Kill a Mockingbird. So I was in a To Kill a Mockingbird phase. So.
Why'd you name that cat Sasha?
Oh, it's a Russian name after
brother was Nicholas.
Yeah, there was
So they were Nicholas and Sasha Romanov.
Yeah.
So
That's
they
it. The
wouldn't
Romanov. That's the name I could
So
remember.
they wouldn't go Romanov.
Yeah.
Any funny stories about your cat?
Funny stories? Yes. Actually, we had a black cat called Panther. We had a cat door for them to go in and out. Panther used to bring in sticks. So one day, we lodged a big stick in the door and told our son that the cat brought it in, when we did it instead of the cat. He never brought in sticks after that, but before that, yes.
This one likes to roam the halls at night going, hurrah! After the lights are out, and she's training the other cat to respond, which they do, so they talk at night, but she can get quite loud, going, hurrah! Looking for people.
I will tell you one of the stories, he's a little bit schizo, and I think that there was some mistreatment, but he's incredibly well behaved, and if you tell him no, he knows it. So one of the things he does in the morning, if I don't get up early enough, he'll jump up on the counter chair, and then he'll slowly put one paw on the counter, and then the other, because he knows I don't want him on the counter. So that's his way of telling me to get up and feed him.
So Razor is addicted to whipped cream. We don't know why. When we first got him, my parents were opening the fridge one day and we had like a little whipped cream container, and he like instantly recognized it because he was like sitting on the counter. And now like he can't go a day without like getting like a hit of whipped cream. Like he's like a little like cokehead going after it.
How does Razor compare to your previous cats?
He's a lot more energetic than my previous cats. My previous cats kind of just like lounged around. Like he's like very vocal and like energetic. Like he makes his presence known.
Well, he's an indoor cat, which I had never had. When we brought Atticus home, initially he would not. If I left the door, if I was going outside, he'd run up right to the door, and he'd try and grab me with his paws so I wouldn't leave. But he never tried to get out, ever. And only once has he tried to get out, and that was one day on this balcony. I had the screen door open, and I never expected him to try and run. He never tries to go out the front door, ever. And he started to go out, and I just panicked because I thought if he gets on the balcony and he freaks out, maybe he'll jump up and fall over, because I'm on the 3rd floor. So that's one of the major differences is he's an indoor cat.
She's a lot more friendlier than the other ones. Some were friendly, some weren't. We got one that was a kitten that another cat dropped it on Route 6, and we picked it up and brought it home. It was just like 2 or 3 weeks old at that point, but we didn't want it to get killed on the highway.
Has your cat been around any other cats or any other animals?
Yes. She has 2 dogs that are her brothers, and they get along just fine, but she's the queen. She rules the rules, not the dogs. She does.
Do they get along good with the dogs?
Not really, no. She
likes the rabbit.
She likes the rabbit. The rabbit and her get along. There's some mutual respect there, and she understands where she are in the rabbit hierarchy. She's below the rabbit. But above everything else.
But Solstice will hang out with the dogs.
Yeah, Solstice will, but Fizgig is still scared of Solstice, and every time in the morning when I take the dogs in, when I get up, he'll attempt to hide somewhere back Fizgig when he comes down the hallway, and Fizgig won't go anywhere without an escort past Solstice in the morning. But Sasha's the only one who jumps on the table and tries to hit them.
So he hasn't been around any of our cats because we got him when all our other cats passed away, but he's around our dog. We have a French bulldog named Bullseye, and she like doesn't respond to him at all, but like he always kind of tries to play with her, and like she just doesn't like care at all. So
has your cat ever scratched or bit you, and what was going on when that happened?
he scratches and bites me probably every time I touch him, because that's just his way of like playing. Like he like play like fights, but like he doesn't know how to control himself, so he likes to scratch me a lot. But it doesn't really matter to me. It doesn't really hurt.
Yes, that's actually, normally when I come home from one of my trips, like to Cleveland for my family, I'll come home and he'll be really happy and rub against me and let me pet him. But the next day he almost always will either attack my foot or bite me somehow to let me know he was not happy that I left. But I don't get bitten or scratched on a daily basis. You will see how I have this peacock feather out.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm lying here and he's looking like he wants to get at me, and we start to play with the peacock feather, I have ribbons, I have other toys to distract him, which works for a while, but it means I have to get up and move. Cats do like peacock feathers.
Sometimes I roughhouse with Solstice a bit, and he'll scratch, but it's a light scratch to
And
know
you wear
that.
an oven mitt to play with her.
Yeah, to know that he's like he won, got a point or something. But it's nothing that draws blood. But this one, you absolutely cannot do that with. If you want to do that with her, you have to wear an oven mitt because there's no restraint.
What's the worst thing about owning a cat?
Cleaning the litter box.
What's the best thing about owning a cat?
Best that is that she'll sit in your lap and let you pet her, and she'll cuddle up with you. That's the best part.
I don't know. They cuddle. They're nice. They purr. Whenever I lie down to take a nap, Solstice will run in and join me and jump on my back and start noisily cleaning his paws next to my ear.
What's the worst?
Well,
Hitting the dogs.
Best thing about owning a cat is the companionship. There's responsibility, so it means you get up, you know you have to clean their box and feed them and give them water. He's not super affectionate, which my other cat was, but when he does let me pet him, he loves to be brushed when he's eating, so it's a chance to pet him. But I know other people whose cats are real lovey-dovey. That's not this cat. But he'll sit on that couch and I'll sit over here and we look at each other and we admire each other from afar. So we coexist quite nicely. So.
What's the worst thing about owning a cat?
Well, you worry about them, like I have to go away. If I go out of town, I have to have someone else take care of him. And because he's not the nicest or easiest to get along with, I have one friend who's willing to come over and do it. But he's not someone that I could leave with just anyone. It's not like I could just pick him up and take him to someone's house and he'd be okay. So that's the hardest part about him and he's big. He's 25 pounds and my vet wants him to lose weight. So putting a cat who will scratch or bite you if you haven't fed him on a diet is a challenge.
All the things he knocks off the table, I really like it when I have to pick it up. And when he meows incessantly at night because he wants to be fed again, I really like those aspects of it.
What's the worst?
The love and affection he gives me.